And welcome back, everyone, to the Quirk Creation series. I had to remember quickly what series I was on. And we have one from Zombie Demon who asked the question, what is Captain Jack Sparrow's quack? Not Pokemon Team, that's a different video, Savvy. Now, what is his quack? Obviously, looking at Jack Sparrow, we would have to look at him in a modern context. Is he still kind of a pirate in the real world, like the My Hero modern world? Or does he do something else? Is he a scoundrel rogue, or is he still actually a hero? Is he a villain? Or what exactly would his standing in hero society even be? I guess is a very good question. My best guess is you would. Pirates these days are not the swashbuckling kind. You get like Somali pirates and things along those lines where, oh no, these pirates are, and to be fair, in real life, pirates are not swashbuckling either. Granted, we are in a My Hero world, so you could still get some swashbuckling going on with characters. But my guess is he would still be something of the roguish, good-hearted rogue. Will do the right thing, but is also out for himself. He would be closer to like an anti-hero, a vigilante, if you will. But he's not even really a vigilante because he's not really trying to save the day. He's usually just out for himself for a buck, but he just usually winds up on the side of good a lot of the time. But the question is, I could even see his whatever moniker name, hero, villain, vigilante, whatever, his super name being Captain Jack Sparrow. I could actually see, it's like his name is Jack Sparrow. Actually, technically speaking, his name isn't Jack Sparrow. His actual, he got that name when he helps Jack Sparrow. Hold on. Jack Sparrow, I believe Jack is his real name. Jack is, but Jack Sparrow, what's his actual name? That, because we know Jack Sparrow is a moniker, is a title he got. He as Salazar said, he earned the name that would hunt me for the rest of my days. Jack the Sparrow. Let's see here. His father is Edward Teague, so it would be theoretically, it would go to stand that his real name, by all accounts, might actually be Jack Teague's. That by all counts, but we just don't know his actual last name. Someone, Captain Edward Teague, who was born on a ship in a typhoon, he became known as Jack the Sparrow. He was so it was before he was called Captain Jack Sparrow. He was known as Jack Sparrow, a teenage stowaway who even then had a desire for adventure. Young Jack first sailed on the Barnacle with a ragtag crew. He's where is the whole Salazar thing? Brandon, a pirate. Let's see here. For the Sword of Cortez, I think was that it. Looking at his young life. Sorry, I'm just quickly going through his history here. I'm not finding a huge thing about his history with the Black Pearl or Salazar. Yeah, as best I can tell, he might have been called Jack the Sparrow prior to being captain of the Black Pearl. But again, the whole Jack the Sparrow thing, as far as we know, thanks to the fifth pirate movie, came from Salazar. So that might not be his actual name, as far as I know. But anyway, I digress. So the whole point of the joke was he might use his real name might, let's just say, be Jack Sparrow in this world. But his moniker, his roguish triangle, calls him Captain Jack Sparrow. And so, yeah, I think that'd be very funny. But what would a quirk for him be? Well, if you watched my What If Jack Sparrow Was in One Piece video, I'm leaning towards that. Basically, a quirk that involves the consumption of alcohol on some level. In this case, though, I think I'd like the idea of a quirk that involves the consumption of alcohol and actually the reverse effects of not drinking alcohol. What do I mean by that? Well, it's actually kind of a Bender from Futurama situation here. By consuming alcohol, and Jack's preferred drink would be rum, he actually sobers up more. He is actually able to function more effectively. He would probably get physical enhancements. It just wouldn't be anything, anything like anything along those lines. In fact, if anything, physically, he'd probably get like more agile, more. His reflexes would probably kick in more. And so the more he drinks, the more, and he's like more calculating, able to like figure things out more. The drunker he gets, the more effective he gets. But the downside, really enough, of this quirk would be if he's not doesn't have a consistent level of alcohol in him, he actually will start to get drunker and get like drunker and drunker to the point where he might actually I wouldn't say he would die, but until he gets like booze in him, he might be completely forward like kind of like I was on Monday with like a migraine, or he might be completely bedridden or something like that. Like he gets drunker and just drunker without the booze. The booze is actually used to sober him up. And once he hits that plateau where he's more or less sober, he can continue to drink to increase his abilities physically, mentally, whatever. But only to a certain level, because even then, I think that would be a downside of the quirk, that his body can still only process so much. Like maybe he can process alcohol, his body lets him process alcohol 10, 20, 15, whatever times faster than a normal human, and that converts it into a certain type of energy. However, if he's drinking just too much at once, and then he gets like he can't drink a whole barrel, his body's still got limitations. So there's only so drunk he can get, and therefore so powerful he can get. It wouldn't be like a seriously powerful quirk either. He'd always probably have like a flask. He'd basically be like a Rick Sanchez kind of thing, where he'd always have a flask on him. So I think that kind of quirk works well for a character like Jack Sparrow. But what does an awakened version of this quirk will look like? Uh, and honestly, I think there's one easy answer. A, he's all of his physical abilities are increased even more, and he can drink even more and have a higher alcohol tolerance. But B, I think he can at that point like manipulate any sort of alcoholic liquid around him, and therefore get into his mouth quicker. Just consume it and manipulate it. Maybe even he can manipulate the alcohol in his system and then just use it for whatever means he needs to, which essentially gives him a type of water bending, albeit with only alcoholic products. So, any sort of booze is obvious, rubbing alcohol, medicinal alcohol, even like something like gasoline, technically I think has a level of alcohol in it. So that would be up for grabs. And obviously, as we all know, alcohol does have multiple purposes. I mean, besides the fact it can get you drunk, it's still a liquid, so it would have all the advantages of, say, like water does for like physical attacks, blocking, all that. But also is highly flammable, especially if you got the right type of alcohol. Technically speaking, most foods and everything like that have like an alcohol content, but it's so little that they don't even register it on like the ingredients list, because it just is so minute of an amount of alcohol. That's why if you like eat something, a certain amount of food, and then take a breathalyzer test, you will actually not test positive, but test for like you had alcohol, because it's technically reading a bunch of things combined. But I'm talking about actual like liquid alcohol. There was a villain in which arc was it? It was the end of the player, like the license exam arc or something like that, where I think it's the end of the overhaul arc, where Todoroki and Bakugo had finally gotten their provisionary licenses, I believe is allowed them to actually do hero work when they need to. And there was a villain who could manipulate carbonation and carbonated water, and so he had a device that allowed him to do that. It'd be similar to this. Jack could still only manipulate alcoholic beverages, but still it'd be a very versatile quirks, particularly because if he has like a flask on him, he's gonna always have a weapon on call. Beyond that, though, he can just get more alcohol into his system, and he's prepared for whatever he needs to. Either way, again, the boozy type quirk I think works for Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow. Sorry. So I do think this quirk ultimately is fitting of someone like Jack, someone of his character. But this is just my opinion. What do you think? Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. Have a good one.